Well, let's see. Let's see. There you are. I couldn't see you guys. How do you like my new hat? Well, I feel ripped off by Amazon. I wanted to get a pink top hat and cane, the magic trip cane. This is what they mailed me. What is this? Uh, what kind of spells can I do with this? Seriously. I mean, I've had many lifetimes where I've had less. Anyway, how is everybody doing? Happy Taco Tuesdays. This is our fun hangout. This is probably the most casual we're going to be together. Thursdays, I feel we're a little pumped up. I feel like it's getting to the end of the week. People are rushing for the mixed drinks. That's but Taco Tuesdays, I don't know. Why am I in pink on Taco Tuesdays? This is a fundamental question. It's a good color on me. So, hi, Geocosmic Valentine. Great to see you. Hi, Debbie Brady. Thank you for your help with everything from helping with production to design to, well, just being your wonderful self. Thank you. Hello, Tupelo Honey, Rhonda Shank, Sarah Lynn. Thank you for being members. Q, Oshun Star, Claudia Veras. Hi. Joanna Carson, great to see you. Jay Shirel, great to see you. Karen W, also great. Yeah, you guys say you want to see me in pink. So I was like, okay. Oh, so Human Potential wants you all to know that they're eating tacos. Oh, my rabbit. That's the thing. See, the whole ensemble, I'm working on a genre here, but the cat ran off with Flopsy. Flopsy, the cat, it's Mila's baby. Periodically, we borrow Flopsy. Those people who've been with the channel for a long time know how Mila feels about me grabbing Flopsy. She's a little touched. She thinks Flopsy is alive and real. She's a little. We love our Mila. She had a difficult kittyhood. Sometimes she gets a little confused. So, yeah. So sometimes when I take Flopsy, she gets angry, and then I have to give her Flopsy back. That's her baby. Yes. You guys know that about her, right? Cheers. L'chaim, everybody. L'chaim. Skull. Nostrovia, whatever. I don't know. So, what do you guys want to talk about on this Taco Tuesday? Uh, how long do you think before Prigozhin is arrested? Do you think he'll be held and deported back to Russia? Someone said he was staying in a room in a hotel in Belarus that had no windows. Where you could find such a room. But I guess they found billions of rubles in 2 vans at his compound in Moscow. Did y'all hear about that? Confiscated by the Russian police. Frozen. Money found. So it was the equivalent of 43 million US in rubles, cash, in 2 trucks confiscated by the police. Why does Prigozhin have $43 million in 2 vans at his compound in Moscow? And why is it now the property of the Russian police? Where'd the money come from? Why'd he take the money? Google it. Where did that money come from? Oh, pray tell, wouldn't we all like to know? Anybody hear about this? Bitcoin. He said, well, of course the money was in cash. I pay my soldiers in cash. That was their pay. They get paid in rubles cash, no checks, cash. So he said the money was to go to his soldiers. So $43 million in rubles was confiscated by Russian police. And excuse me. And Prigozhin is saying that cash was to go to his soldiers. What was the complaint that Prigozhin had with Shogu? What were they fighting about? The general Shogu. Guys, remember? It's overwhelming. I know it's overwhelming. Money. That's right. He couldn't pay. He went through that hell. They lost a lot of soldiers. And Shogu said he was not going to pay Wagner. So what did that mean about the future of Wagner if you can't pay your soldiers? He said it would be the end of Wagner, July 1st. Shogu wouldn't give him ammo. Shogu brought in Chechens who he said were easier to deal with less of an attitude and cost less money and wasted less ammo. Those were the accusations Shogu made against Prigozhin. You're wasting too much ammo. You got a crappy attitude. And you're too expensive. Those were the 3 complaints Shogu had about him, right? He walks around like he's God's gift to the world, insulting my men. We're the real army. He's blowing through a ton of ammo. Sure, because your men aren't using it. My men don't use as much ammo as you guys. That's because they're not fighting. This is what the dialogue starts to sound like. So then he does a photo shoot at Bakhmut, and he's told what after Bakhmut? You're not going to get paid. No extra pay for Bakhmut. Your men aren't getting crap. It's like herring on Christmas Day, right? You ever see the movie My Life as a Dog? Right? Poor immigrants that all they had to eat was pickled herring, right? So herring even on Christmas Day. You don't get a goose, you're going to just have more of the same, pickled herring. So that was kind of what it was for Bakhmut. They went in, it was hell. And then after the hell, they're told, no, you're not going to get anything special. Just more pickled herring. And you won't be getting any future pay. And so you can pretty much kiss Wagner goodbye. This is so. Despots abhor a vacuum, right? Despots abhor a vacuum. Would you agree? Hi, Mark. Good to see you here. Happy Pride, by the way, to everyone. So, who stepped in the middle of those tensions, do you think, and started feeding the tensions and saying, oh, we heard you weren't getting paid. Oh, we heard blah, 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 blah. We heard that Shogu was going to do this, that, and the other, and your men are not going to get paid. The point is that somebody came up with $43 million in rubles. And I believe that this is going to come back, and people are going to want to know if the CIA was involved. Where did the money come from? Well, if the guy was being paid to give up locations of Russian military, if that's why they were successful in hitting certain Russian targets, because Prigozhin was selling information in exchange for cash, which is what this is starting to look like. And then they got it, they screwed with his head. Wow, they did that to you? Look, we're on opposite sides of the war, but I can tell you if that had happened to me with my commanding officer, I'd be pretty pissed. I'm not telling you what to do, you know. I'm just saying if it were me, sounds like you got a pretty raw deal, because Bakhmut, I can tell you, you put up a hell of a fight against us. We got to hand it to you. Bakhmut was hell. So, I mean, we're on different sides, but I got to tell you, from what you tell me, Shogu's really screwing you over. I'm not telling you. I can only tell you and where I come from, that's just not cool. Oh, well, I'm not telling you to go kick any ass or anything, but you should know that probably Shogu's gonna kill you, and he's gonna probably bomb you again, and it was intentional. Oh, hey, we're just telling you what we know. You know, you're free to do what you like, but yeah, that last time you got hit, that was intentional. But hey, I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you with intelligence on our side, they're probably going to take you out. You can imagine that kind of, because one of the things that came out with all of the fighting is the pitch battles, the yelling back and forth. It's similar to what you saw in fighting in Afghanistan with different tribes. These are pitch battles back and forth, people yelling at each other, shooting. And you have this kind of also communication happening between the Russians and Ukrainians. It's an interesting dialogue, and it seems to be, I think they're going to follow the money, and they're going to find that he gave up Russian locations. And I think that's ultimately what he's going to get charged with if he gets charged in Russia. But that's just my opinion. Again, it's just whimsy being whimsy. Maybe it's just all in my head. In terms of like what I said about Trump, I think it's a plea deal. I think that stuff is starting to get leaked. I would not be surprised if the DOJ was partially helpful in leaking certain audio, etc. I think they've done it in the past. And I think it's sending a very clear message to Trump's legal team that he's running out of time if there is any kind of deal to plead guilty to a lesser sentence. He could face 400, or he could face a lesser sentence of 10 to 15 years and possibly better living condition, but he needs to hurry up. I think that is the message with these leaks. I think it's very clear. And there's plenty that they still could use his help on. First off, if he agrees to a plea deal and they have a signed, sealed confession in exchange for immunity, they're getting a lot of information from this guy. They'll get a lot. He'll basically corroborate. I think I think they may also have some of his electronics. I suspect they've already somehow gotten a hold of some of his electronics. I think we'll go ahead and do the blitz. I mean, We'll go ahead. We'll do the empath's prayer, and then we will blitz, blitz, blitz away. We have Joel Tilson here working the floor. He's the man with the microphone. He will be. I can see him already putting big giant letters. Putin finally has realized his military is weak. I would think so. I mean, this is what Shogu's complaint was, right? That uh, Wagner was divesting resources um, for the regular Russian military in Ukraine. But what's interesting for me as a remote viewer, I think what's fascinating for me as the fly on the wall, who's just I'm there just to document and get out of ego and just listen, impression, 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 cut, chord, release. I mean, if you're a really good medium, HCRV medium, your opinion doesn't mean anything to the people that hire you. We got to get out of that. It took me a long time to get used to the fact I'd come on the show and people would want my opinion because none of my clients care about that if I'm being hired to go in and get information. How often do you hire a PI or anybody like that? You're going to hang out and ask about their family. It's just, so it's kind of, this channel's been kind of fun. But yeah, I think that's what happened. I think he sold stuff and I think it's going to come out. He's not the sharpest knife in the drawer, Prigozhin, and he's not the most stable knickknack, let's just say, on the shelf. I mean, yes. All right. So when I get the order to blitz, blitz, blitz away, we'll do the empath's prayer, and then we'll go in. We'll spend a little time together. We'll have some tacos together. Is anyone drinking? What are y'all drinking or eating out here? Anybody? I'll tell you what I'm. You guys all want to see what I'm drinking? Um, this is a little too much, maybe, but okay. So I'm having Thai iced tea. Yes, it's delicious. I drink a lot of fluids. I'm having a glass of ice water. This is the part of me that makes me think of Michael Cohen. This is in honor of Michael. Yes. The cherries. Should I have just one? I can only eat just one. Mm. Très bon. I don't know. What is it? Schadenfreude? Is that what we call it? Yeah. Okay. So we're getting the blitz. Are we getting the order for me to blitz, blitz, blitz away? Oh, iced tea with wings, celery, carrots, and fries. Oh my God. Is that what you're having, Joel? That's one of my favorite snacks. What you're having is the celery and the celery and the carrots just make it complete with the ranch dressing. I just have to have water. Okay, I'm getting the order to blitz. All right, let's do the empath's prayer together, shall we? All right. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say, Amen. All right. That was a nice, beautiful prayer that went out. Let's go and look at these blitzes. We're going to blitz, blitz, blitz away. Hi, Janice. Janice, good to see you here. Carolyn Russell, Melody Harmon. Well, I just think, it's all happening very quickly, isn't it? I think he's going to. I think that there's a reason why the stuff is breaking about the Willard Hotel right now. I think that may be part of the deal. Is well, I think do they all have the same attorney? Because there was another thing about obstruction that was coming up. Oh, Geocosmic Valentine. It was billions and billions of rubles found in 2 vans at uh, his home. And he said that his fighters were paid in cash. But if so, the Ministry of Defense pays him in a check and then he dispenses theirs in cash. I mean, it's and but it was 43 million. He translates into 43 million US. It's starting to look very strange. Like, where did the money come from? Did he take the money that the Ministry of Defense gave from Wagner? Yeah, it's the question of the $43 million found at his compound. They don't know. They don't. I mean, it's unanswered. If the Russians know, if it's genuinely coming from the Russians, and it's just going to go back to the Ministry of Defense and pay the workers, if that's because um, then that's interesting. It means that Wagner people still haven't gotten paid. They're still waiting to get their cash. If that's what that means, they still have yet to be paid. If they didn't get paid, which is what he was accusing Shogo of, then where'd the money come from? You see, it's starting to get confusing. Did they pay you or didn't they? So they did pay you? Then why is it in cash? I mean, it's starting to get really it's just starting to get very confusing for me. I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on. Okay, so you paid them in cash, but where did you get all these rubles? I believe you when you say that the money is for Wagner. I believe you. Where'd you get it? That's what we're trying to figure out. All right, Putin's future. The family business is in bad trouble. His enemies have already won. They crossed the Dnepr. That wasn't. Remember what he said a few weeks ago when we got into Putin's head that if they cross, he's screwed because he's trying to secure the eastern portion. And then a few days later, he broke the dam. It's because of this. He basically told us. I don't know anything about the military. Any military people here? Debbie's military. He basically said that for strategic reasons, he had placed his military on the eastern portion of the Dnepr River, and that he felt that if they had crossed or breached the Dnepr, am I saying it properly? Excuse me. That he would not be able to secure his military. That once that was breached, it was pretty much over, and that I assume is why 3-4 days after we delivered that, you all know he did the thing with the dam. Then we did a remote that says dam breaks, war ends in 3 weeks, etc. So they've breached it. So in answer to your question, Joel, so they've breached it. So at this point, I think he needs to take care of himself because he needs to take care of his own stuff, his security, his family's security, etc. Because the war is coming to an end. Yeah, it's armistice. And so is he going to play a part in this movement towards armistice? And I don't think so, because it's too humiliating, which probably happens within a week. So I don't know. I mean, armistice, look, but he's coming as Queen of Pentacles. 10 of Cups is an armistice card. He's got to take care of his own. because his relationship. Thanks, Joel. Thank you, Joel. Joel just gave the answer. Are you military, Joel? I don't know. Joel, you retracted. It was about. Anyway, he flooded because he was trying to stop the advance. Anyway, that's what we understand. Anyway, the final outcome, he's mental confusion. That's why I don't think that he'll be the one that will negotiate a peace treaty. But it looks like they have to do something because it's pretty much over. I don't really think they have the resources to continue for much longer. I mean, they've got a couple bombs. They had a major bomb today. Like I said, they have bombs, but they simply don't have the ammo or the soldiers. And now that the river has been breached, which was the thing that Putin basically told us at that point it would be over for him. He wouldn't be able to hold his. They would be too vulnerable. With Prigozhin in exile, what will happen to his mercenaries in Africa and other countries? Well, they'll join other mercenary groups, but unfortunately they may take a pay cut because when we got into the documents on Shogu, he said they have a crappy attitude and they charge too much. He got a cheaper deal with the Chechens. That's why the Chechens came in to secure Moscow. And he said that they had less of an attitude. Shogu couldn't deal with him. He had too much attitude. Oh, you were in the Air Force. Yeah. So the river was a natural barrier. Russia flooded the area to slow the advance of Ukrainian forces. Yes, thank you, Joel. All right. So Anne wants to know, with Prigozhin in exile, what's going to happen to the mercenaries? Let's find out. Can you believe we live in such times? These are strange times. These are strange times. But it's good to see all of you. Looks like some of you are having tacos. I'm having Thai food. I had Thai food delivered. I hadn't had delivery in a very long time, and I thought I would treat myself because I was working. So yes, I ordered a bunch of Thai food. And now I'm enjoying my Thai iced tea. Oh, Prigozhin. You know, he could sell off Wagner. They did have a base 100 miles from evidently Ukraine, but 100 miles is pretty far away. That would give plenty of time to Ukrainians if they chose to try and come and invade or something like that. But this looks to me like he may be able to disband and sell off assets to other companies that he's co-signed with. So, it reminds me of catering or any other company. You do a major event that's like the Gotham Awards in New York. I catered it, right? And you have maybe 3 catering companies get called because they need so many waiters, right? So you come in and you're with Red Top, and oh, you're with Red Top. Well, I'm with so and so. And everybody works together. So you have this kind of dynamic of the business of the mercenary. So he could be selling stuff off to existing companies, kind of like you're selling off your catering stuff. And then as for your waiters, your warriors, they simply go off and work with another contractor. It's amazing how it works very similarly. He's under investigation by multiple. It's becoming increasingly difficult for him to do this kind of business anywhere where the UN is kicking him out. You have some kind of a strong ethical body that's trying to put a stop to these sorts of things. Like the UN can really be very powerful because if they vote and you're a voting member and there's pressure on you, you're not going to necessarily get resources from the UN if you decide not to abide by certain policies, whether they're human rights policies or this sort of thing. And I can tell you, it's not just NATO. that's having a problem with these types of contractors. You have this oversight coming. I often get this card with United Nations where it's just this Torah. It's almost like an assembly or an energy that comes down over something that is almost higher than oneself. And also the fact that he's got a hierophant here again would be like an external or higher body comes around. I feel it being broken up. The issue of the business. Um, We're entering into a time, this is another thing that's been coming up in the charting a lot. We're entering into a time of female leadership and just a different way of negotiating and doing business. Uh, this guy will come to no good end, his outcome. He's not well. Yeah. I think it ends. I mean, the vision I had was everybody coming at him and him going up and, like going up and everybody coming after him. That was kind of the vision I had. And that basically everything that's happened up to this point was the vision that he would have a falling out with Putin and Shogo, that in the end he wouldn't get paid, that not getting paid would be the impetus of the main fall between them, and that he would die surrounded by enemies, both from the West, but also the Russians. That's the vision. And so far, I can't. I mean, it doesn't look like there's a future there. I guess is a nice way of saying it. Oh boy. Okay, we got another person sharing their meal if you guys would like to know about it. It looks like Karen W is having a vanilla milkshake with black cherries. Hello. Man, do I love that. Nancy, the water chick, she's having grilled green chili cheese sandwich. Oh, that sounds really interesting. And a peach iced tea. So in New Mexico, grilled green chili cheese. How do you make that? So you take a green chili, you stuff it with cheese, you grill it, and then you make a sandwich from that. Is that what that is? That sounds kind of interesting. Yeah, I think that yes, in terms of Joel and everybody else who's asking about the future of these private armies in Africa because they're trying to get their trade out. He's talked about this ad nauseum. I can't even. I mean, he was a broken record for 3 years. I mean, and now we see why everything that happened. He also talks a lot about the Black Sea when we went into trance, and yeah, I need my trade. I need my trade, the Caspian, the Black Sea. I need my oil. He was talking, Nord Stream, and it was exhausting. He's he became very exhausting to channel, Putin towards the end. So I think, given the fact that the money isn't there, given the fact that they have bankrupted their own military, they may have to halt projects, some of those projects, Joel. Yeah. And the same is true for China. China is in really serious trouble. And every time we raise our interest rates, it becomes harder and harder for them to hold on to US real estate, which means more and more foreign investors, more Chinese investors dumping U.S. real estate every time the interest rate goes up. Some have argued that that's the plan, is to try and bust the foreign hold on U.S. real estate. But what's that going to do for you if you ended up buying high when it was artificially inflated? This is the whole big discussion, right? When do I see Ukraine entering NATO? Well, now they're openly saying that Ukraine will join NATO. I mean, it just made everything worse for Russia. I mean, like, do you think there's a spiritual lesson for all of us that this is what vindictiveness will get you? like sleeper cells stationed in people that didn't even know each other getting married, two spies, a man and a woman. You will get married and you will have kids and you will live in Teaneck, New Jersey, and you will teach fifth grade math and you will wait to get further instructions. And then you forget you're a spy. You're like living there 20 years with this person who became your wife, who you met during spy training, and you got a couple grown kids. And just the whole sleeper cell phenomenon. Just how vindictive would you have to be to even create such a concept? And look, from all their hard work, look what happened. They lost everything. It's completely bankrupted. They're in such bad shape financially because it was a foundation based on so much hostility towards other people. I can't imagine it would have ended any other way for them. Ukraine's future. It's black and white to the world who the aggressor is and who the innocent parties are from Zelensky's perspective. So it is very clear. There's no confusion. The Ukrainian people are very united, but they're very clear about their situation. But it ends soon. You know, you have this kind of constriction happening in Ukraine. The other leaving, taking your stuff and leaving. They left much heartbreak, power with Ukraine. So probably, yes, I would say they will be part of NATO probably by late spring of 2024. Hmm. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. They're going to have a ceremony. There's going to be a groundbreaking ceremony around October 2023. Biden's going to be there. They're going to be doing some rebuilding projects, some nice fall celebrations about rebuilding, celebrating armistice in Ukraine. It's going to be in October, rebuild projects. And evidently Biden will be there, celebrations about rebuild. Clean up the next 3 months. Remember, I said 3 weeks to 2 to 3 months because you've got cleanup, you've still got pitch battles, you've still got certain groups, independent groups. Month of October, celebrations and rebuild. 10th month rebuild, a celebration armistice. So by October, new judgments, new contracts coming in. Here's Biden. Biden's over the celebrations in October. They're going to have some groundbreaking. That's nice. Where bombs were dropped, putting up memorials and things, and it looks like the Bidens will be there. It looks like it will be in October of 2023. 10 of Wands, October. Hi, everybody. Still have some nice weather in October. You can still have some beautiful days, sunny days in the fall. Drier than the spring, I think, right? That part of the world. Okay. Well, this is the thing that came up when we got into the remotes on China is they want as many contracts as possible. They have to start generating work. They've lost a ton of contracts. So China would love to go in and help rebuild Ukraine. It's not like, in defense of China, it's not like China said, go attack and kill everybody. They're kind of like walking between a rock and a hard place. They've got to get along with the guy. They have to say, yeah, we sympathize. We understand that you lost a lot of money during the collapse. But at the same time, clearly he was if Putin had had the economic resources to continue the war, he would have. He didn't have the economic resources, And I don't think anyone was willing to back him the way he wanted to be backed. Lackluster. I mean, they weren't giving him anywhere near the kind of military support uh, that NATO gave. Yeah. Well, it's like patting Putin on the back and saying, "Yeah, we feel your pain." Well, then do something. Well, we really can't. We really don't want to be in the middle of it, but we sympathize. Uh, yeah. So not really support. But at the same time, talking to Zelensky about we can give you a great contract on a rebuild, right? Um, oh, Joanna Carson says that in Dallas, the housing market is still hot, hot, hot. Okay, good to know. Once you guys get some public transportation in there, they don't have good. They don't have good. It's not good for pedestrians there, right? Okay, so Nancy, the water chick, is teaching us how to do a grilled sharp cheddar cheese. What you do is you grill the sharp cheddar cheese, but you put some green chilies in. And so when you melt it, it has, oh, so it's got a bit of a kick. All right, I got it. I got it. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Definitely works on Taco Tuesday because it's got a little bit of that kick to it. All right. Hi, Claudia. Claudia Veras is asking Kevin McCarthy saying 45 may not be the best candidate for 2024. Is he actually turning against 45? Well, I think 45 is trying. Let's talk about the fact that I think now a lot of you folks don't agree with me. Let's talk about it. Who here thinks that Jack is not going to take a plea deal and wants to take this all the way to trial? And who here thinks no, they can go ahead and get a quick have him take a plea deal? The guy is 70 something years old. What's the point of a trial? And what does it matter since he's going to be hit by a bunch of other things anyway? Um, Theories. Do you think that this guy is being offered a plea deal? You can disagree with me. I mean, I think he is or will be. If you think I'm wrong, let me hear it. Claudia says that Jack wants a trial. Oh my God, Joel is such a foodie. Joel Tilson. Joel, will you have a backyard party at your place one of these days? I'll come visit you. Okay, so a lot of you are saying it's going to go to trial and it's going to go public. I'm saying it's a plea deal, which is embarrassing enough because, like Cohen, he's going to have to plead guilty in public to lesser crimes. And that's going to be unbelievably humiliating. Oh my God, 116 degrees in Texas. Y'all need to take care of yourselves. I heard you guys had heat that was not sustainable for life. All right, let's see about McCarthy. All right. Well, don't be upset if it becomes a plea deal by August. I know. But don't worry, there's plenty more lawsuits. What amazes me is that they're all up in arms about the boxes, the boxes, the boxes. But then you ask the average Republican, yeah, but he was also found guilty of sexual assault. Does that bother you? No. It's like, why why are we not talking about that? Does that not mean something to these people? I mean, uh, yeah, Kathy, he cannot run for president and he can't vote, right? Isn't that true? Isn't that what happened with Michael Cohen? He couldn't, he's not going to be able to run for office, but he can't vote in a political. How can you run for office when you can't vote? Depending upon what the agreement is in the plea deal. But I have a feeling that, yeah, pulling out of the presidential, not being able to vote, a lesser sentence. Say they give him 5 years. But how old is the guy? 70 something? So, well, it saves the government a lot of money. Also, it's a slam dunk case. So, why spend a bunch of money on a trial when you've got a slam dunk case? And what's the point of wasting all this money to get him 400 years, which he can't live? He can't live 400 years when you can get him on a lesser sentence of 5 years and have him turn on the evil eight or whatever the hell they are, who are all working in cahoots with the same group of lawyers, the people that are meeting on mega yachts. So I don't know. I don't know. Major decision coming down in August regarding him giving something up. See, August, I'm telling you, something's going down, a plea deal or something. I just feel like they are going to keep throwing all this public evidence. This guy cannot win. He cannot win. He's finished. Here's Jack. Look at this. Look at the mastery. Meticulous. Boy, there's a lesson there for all of us about doing meticulous work in the world. What would help with a plea deal? Signed, sealed confession. Well, how he arranged certain things with Roger Stone, with Eastman, with anybody who has not turned. Anybody that was at the Willard Hotel that was part of, this started a long time ago. It started with the Tea Party, and that was linked back to Russian money. So basically they're a bunch of turncoats. It started in 2010. So in a way, Trump got pulled into a fifth column that he wasn't even the original member of. So you could argue that he was a useful idiot for the fifth column. So who's the fifth column? The guy that was hanging out with Thomas in international waters on a mega yacht off the coast of Indonesia, on some remote island in Indonesia. That's more interesting than Donald Trump, I think. Roger Stone was part of that. Roger Stone was very active. Ginny Thomas, her husband. Giuliani, leaks inside the Pentagon. How far did it go inside the Pentagon? Charles, Flynn, these people had, this was an internal investigation that was started under the Obama administration. They were pretty sure that they had gotten hit pretty hard by Russia, because it wasn't just that he was interfering with the elections. It was the fact that Obama had to fire people. There were people in the Pentagon that were in trouble. Flynn was in trouble. They had suspected this for a while. So it was a really long investigation. Senators in Moscow in 2018. But if you're looking at the Tea Party, that's much, much older. And these people that were meeting at the Willard Hotel, they have a very long history of doing some really creepy things. So it's not like Trump gets off. You're going to be happy with a long trial and he gets 400 years. Like he's going to serve 400 years. The guy may live, 10 years? No, so you get him 10 years. So he is going to have life or whatever. Maybe you get him a psych eval or what, and then you deal with what the underlying real investigation always was, which was dark money and these elements influencing our courts, bribing members of Congress. Yeah. Obama fired Flynn, yes, because Flynn was under investigation for taking bribes. It goes back to, yeah. So we're talking about, yeah, close to a 13-year investigation into corruption, into Homeland. It's a long time. Okay, I think we're going to do a couple more and then I think we'll call it a day. Joel had a question about the senators that met in Moscow. Don't you think that that's part of it, though, Joel? I mean, don't you think that they're going to be linked back to the Tea Party and taking money that was traced back to Russia, which was why they were pro-Russian, because they were being paid to be pro-Russian, right? It's July 4th. That's really horrible. Oh my God, they're such turncoats. I'm sorry. This is so horrible. All right, let me see what happens to them. I can't believe they aren't. I'm surprised they're not locked. They must have great lawyers. I don't know. Let's take a look. Hi, John France. Hello, Hawaii Bound. Sounds like a great place to be bound. Hello, Michelle Tom. Hello, Rose Blue. They took money from questionable sources. It was undeclared. You're right. Undeclared money. Oh, fuck. They're in so much trouble. Oh my God. Money, hoarding, taking money. Look at that. Money, taking money. Investigation into hoarding money, dark secrets, new beginning. Who? The feds raid. Look at this. Money hoarding, money hoarding. Receiving money. Look at that. It's crazy. The feds. Truth comes out. The feds come, raid regarding what? The money that was given. Refusal to talk. You're not going to get. See, this is what I mean. It's like a cult. They're in a cult. They're in like a Satan cult or something. Just like these people hung out with Epstein. This is like a cult. It's like that none of them will betray the other. Wing nuts. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they're loyal and they have this delusion that somehow what they're doing has some moral compass to it, when what it really is that they were greedy and they took bribes. This goes a lot back to what Malcolm Nance has said about the Cayman Islands and stuff. I mean, it's all money cards, everything, and a lot of hoarding cards and family secrets about legacy and receipt. And this is a job. So they actually had, it was their job, Joel. That's the clearest interpretation, like straight reading. It was their job to make nice with Moscow. That they were paid to make nice with Moscow, which basically means they were unregistered foreign lobbyists. Oh, Harlan Crow's another one. I don't know this guy. Who are you? Why are you asking about what's on the docket on your private mega yacht in the middle of nowhere so you can all have a little privacy? You do this every year right before the docket comes up. How convenient. You're going to go through a lot of what's coming up so that, and just the level of arrogance of Harlan Crow that he thinks he gets to have his voice, that he gets to put his stamp. It's just, it's so horrible. This is a lot worse than I thought it was. Like when we gave the remote views a couple of years ago about the mega yachts, that we would start to see this unfold and about these meetings. I thought, oh, this is going to be bad. I didn't know it was going to be this bad. I'll be honest with you. It's a lot worse than I thought it was going to be. I don't know what you all thought it was going to be, but for me as a remote viewer, I just think it's a lot worse than what I thought it was going to be. All right. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, please check out the information that Debbie Brady has been kind enough to publish. You can book through Booksy. Also, a quick Wizio readings. I'm going to be doing some of those tonight. If you want pre-taped readings, I think it costs something like $30, and I can usually get those out in a couple of days. I want to thank everybody who has decided to be a member of this channel. It means the world to us. Thank you, Debbie Brady, for also, she has been helping with production, and we'd be lost without her. If also buying the merch, etc., that Debbie's been developing is also helping the channel. Gratitude for the memberships. If you decide to join Fairies and Angels, we get together on Saturdays. We have a private brunch with private readings. It's $2.99. Very inexpensive. It's a great way to support the channel. If you would like to join our mystery school, where we get together once a week to teach the great mysteries, remote viewing, etc., it's $9.99 a month, very affordable. We get together on Wednesday nights, but you can always watch the pre-tapes if you can't go live. Our benefactors program is $99 a month, and it comes with a consultation with me once a month. Also a great package. I think that's all the announcements. Any other announcements anyone has to make before we close out today? Is everybody excited about the future? Has everybody got their plan? Does everybody know what your job is to create heaven on earth? You all got it figured out? Yeah? You're busy manifesting your joy? You're woke now, right? You get it. You're not here to be unhappy. You're not here to suffer. You're here to create heaven on earth. You got to get busy. All right. So before we close, that's the end of that. We're now going to move on to the next part. I almost forgot. We are getting together with our book club at 6 o'clock. And the book we are reading is dun, 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 Isabel's Starry Night. So if you want to join us for that, if you have read Isabel's Starry Night, I forgot that now at 6 o'clock we get to talk about Isabel's Starry Night. So I guess we're going to start the book club. I'm going to grab the book. It's taking about 10-15 minutes to talk about the book before we close today. Dun, 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 dun. So, who here has read our book selection for the month of June? Isabel's Starry Night. Who here has joined our book club? We get together the last Tuesday of the month. So, who here has read the book? I got to get a glass of water, and then I'm going to tell you what I think of the book. Okay, so you can all share your opinions, and I'm going to talk about my opinions. All right, so the author is Wanda Webster and Richard M. It's about a woman. I don't want to call her a girl because she's 21 years old. The main character is called Isabel Hotchkiss. Here is the first question. You upgrade, you just go to memberships and just click on the new grade, and then you can just switch it that way. Yes, Joel, I received your book. But I'm not ready to get there yet. Well, but I do like the book, by the way. Thank you, Joel. Okay, here's my first question for those of you who read the book. What did you think of Isabel Hotchkiss when you first were introduced to her personality? Be honest. So, I mean, it was interesting. I felt like my first impression of Isabel was that she was very emotionally mature. She was very, very emotionally mature. She was 21 years old and she's still living with her parents. And her parents are these unbelievably brilliant, educated, emotionally available, liberal. The other thing I love about the book is that it takes place in Portland, Oregon. So I knew all the locations, right? But I got the impression she lacked empathy because she hadn't suffered yet, right? Right. She kind of the character lacks the character Isabel Hotchkiss lacks empathy. So she on her 21st birthday, she doesn't want anything from her parents. She doesn't even want to have them acknowledge her birthday. She won't go to dinner with them. I mean, she's kind of mean. Um I liked the book, and I like the fact that it's really a book about her evolution, right? That she goes from being uh she's also very prejudiced. I mean, you get to see her become an adult, don't you? I mean, she gets a van, a 1955 Harvester International Metro van. She tries to turn it into an electric, not so successfully. She's raised by this unbelievable father who teaches her how to be emotionally available. Also, doesn't her father just seem like the most loving person in the world? I mean, he owns a food cart. He's feeding everybody. He learns to cook all kinds of food to feed everybody. I just thought he was really, really beautiful. But through it all, she just seems very, very ungrateful. The other thing that made me feel like they had pampered her too much was she was 21 years old and she still was sent to her room when she disobeyed. And I thought, I was like, oh my God, this girl is so not ready for adulthood. That was kind of like my first impression was, whoa, this girl is really emotionally, she's been protected to the point where this is going to be really difficult for her. So I thought that was interesting. The one of the first things that the authors challenge us with is to slow down and think about our own prejudices. Did you guys catch that? Like that when we're young, life is black and white, right? She was emotionally mature, but also she had this idea that everything was black and white. Like she saw the guy and like she goes on the road and she's headed to Bellingham, Washington because she wants to go to a powwow, a community event, and she meets up with a guy who's uh, got an RV, and she immediately assumes that he's a red hat Trump supporter, and instead he's another liberal. And the reason he's driving the RV, I think he inherits it or something, and he's got a Prius, and the Prius is she finds out afterwards. But it's all about how we sometimes prejudge people based on we just have an assumption, and or we may not like somebody on first look because maybe we had somebody in our past that looked similar to them that we didn't like. And so for reasons that the other person has no control over whatsoever, we make a snap judgment. And so I thought that was really kind of interesting. There's also, the other thing is that I made little notes like when she's on the bus and somebody sings and people are getting annoyed, and instead she decides to join in the singing, and they make the point that in every moment we can be joyful. Like she says, positive. She said it felt good to choose a more positive direction than to focus on his bad behavior. Like the fact that somebody was mad that somebody was singing. Then she goes on the road, and then she goes through a series of experiences. She meets certain people. Do you guys want to talk about any of the characters, any of the lessons she learns, or how you felt about any of the lessons that she learned from any of the people she meets? Like she really falls in love with the Native American community. She wants to follow them with a totem pole to DC, and they say you can't go with us. It's not your journey. So instead, she decides to go to Skid Row instead. It's a really cool story. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, the Lumi Reservation. When she goes on to the Lumi Reservation. Yeah. So what do you think the takeaway? What do you think the big takeaway was for you? Wander, like when you walked away, what was the sitting impression that you had when you read the book? Like, did it, it's interesting. We romanticize ourselves as young people, but sometimes being clueless just because you're young can in and of itself be a type of cruelty that I think it's not that she's trying to be cruel, right? It's just that she's simply been guarded her whole life, right? Something else I really liked. Oh, what did you guys think about the fact that there's another character I really, really liked in there? What was the name of that character? Um, where she does get into a situation with somebody that's violent, and who's the person that calms her and says, I've learned to just accept people in life. People are, what was that experience? It's really pretty interesting. Anyway, oh, I forgot about Geordie Lawrence. Yes. So it's like everybody. Geordie Lawrence was the actor who had been to Skid Row, who inspires her to go to Skid Row. Anyway, so oh yeah, Margaret Shelley. She was the character that I like. Margaret Shelley, who I have found Margaret Shelley, when she's dealing with a crazy Trump supporter, the woman diffuses the situation and she says, I have found a way to walk beside people and accept who they are and where they are on their personal journey. I just thought, not even bother to. The older you get, you don't try to change people. You accept the fact that everybody has good and bad traits, and uh, the wisdom of that. So overall, what did people think of the book? Would you recommend the book? Did you want the book to be longer? Were there parts of the book you didn't like? What rating would you give it? Any final thoughts about the book before we close? You think her parents were too nice to her? Opinions. I love the way this story ends. All right, I think we're done. Anybody have anything that they want to add for story time? Isabel's Starry Night. Anything you guys want to add, or messages to the authors? Oh, Wanda Webster is here. Okay, Wanda, thank you. Um, Thank you for this book, Wanda. I first off, thank you for having it be based in Portland. Also, I just really like this book. You know, um, You know what? I'm having an issue with a young person right now, and this book, who, by the way, her mother is a wonderful person, and this book, it's what came to me at the right time because um, they're just young. You just got to remind yourself they will catch up. Thank you so much, Wanda Webster, for a great book. We really loved the book. I want to make an announcement that we have chosen our book for July. If you don't know and you would like to join us at the end of the month, July, for the July reading. And our selection for July, we have a selection for August as well, but I'm not going to announce it yet. But I don't have a selection for September, so keep bringing books. Okay. Stay sober and save the world. The cave woman way. I'm so excited. I have not even. I got to talk to the author, so I'm very excited about reading it. Anyway, this is our July selection. Be sure and check it out. The author is Ellen Archer. Hopefully, she can join us. If you are a writer, an author, and you would like us to read your book and have it be part of our monthly book selection, please mail it to 1816 Southwest 5th Avenue, Suite 116, Portland, Oregon, 97201. Oh, you're doing the illustration too, Wanda? Man, this book, I know these people, Wanda. I know these people. It was a joy to read it. All right, be well, everyone. I will see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. That's 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for Mystery School Class 6. We'll be talking about the different types of astral bodies and how they're associated with different types of dimensional work. It's going to be a really intense lecture. I know you won't want to miss it. All right, be well, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thank you, everyone.